Here's why I completely redesigned my whole landing page. So first, let me show you the design. I actually thought this design was really good until I realized it wasn't. The Heroes section was packed with visuals that didn't really connect anything together. The navigation was unclear, there was no real structure, no sense of direction. And the reason I had to fix this is simple. I wanted to build a multi-page website, something that includes 5 new pages and also a request demo model. So right away, the navigation became a critical problem. That's why one of the biggest changes I made was turning the navigation into more of a map. Now, you instantly get a sense of direction. You know where you are, where you can go, and there's finally a clear call to action button, which was completely missing before. But honestly, the most important change was the hero section. Before, it felt cramped, too much information fighting for attention. Now I focus on clarity. When someone lands on the page, they immediately understand what this website is about. I also removed one of the decorative visuals from the previous version and replaced them with a subtle navigation that gently moves between sections. And this navigation isn't just on the homepage, it appears across every page of the website. And finally, I updated the animated asset, one on the hero section, and I've changed the one on the final CTA section. Now everything feels more premium. It doesn't look like it's just trying to be fancy anymore. It actually feels intentional and more polished. So now that the main landing page is finalized, let me show you a feature that lets you create all the remaining pages in under 60 minutes, yet in less than an hour. Which is actually crazy when you think about it, because all those pages will take less time than designing the main landing page itself. So first, go to the Pages feature at the top left corner, click on Create Page, enter the name of your new page, and hit the check mark. Now, one important thing to understand when you do this, it creates an exact duplicate of your page. In this case, the home page was last selected. But before we jump in and start adapting this page into the system core page, we need to prepare the prompt. And if you watched my previous video, you already know I use this process a lot, going back and forth between Gemini and ChatGPT. But you can use the AI of your choice. So here's the first step. Download the final HTML of your main landing page, upload it to your AI, and add something like, "This is my final landing page. I want to turn this into a full website. That means I need pages for system core, deployment, security, pricing, docs, and maybe a request demo page. I want you to brainstorm and propose a strategy for building this. Give me your feedback, then we'll start with the first page, in this case, system core." Now, I don't just blindly copy the prompt, I actually read what the AI suggests. And here I really like the part where it says the multi-page website should evolve from marketing to technical credibility to trust and finally to conversion. It also explained the role that each page should play in the flow. That's exactly what I want. If you keep reading, it breaks down the strategy for every page, and the first one we're building is System Core. So when you're ready, you let the AI generate the content for that page. Here it tells me that the page should include 6 sections and gives an overview of what section should contain. Before generating the layout, it asks me something important. It asks, do you want your system core page to feel more like a technical blueprint, a cinematic control room, or a hybrid? I decided to go with option C, hybrid. Then I ask it to generate a detailed prompt that I can feed into Gemini. And I make sure to specify one thing. The section should not look generic or basic. Each section should feel different in layout, but while still keeping the same overall design style. So now I will copy the final prompt, go back to Aura. And remember, we're starting from a duplicate pages. In this case, we have an exact copy of home page. So I paste the detailed prompt and ask to adapt it into a system core page. I select Gemini 3 Pro and keep on default mode. And just like that, with one detailed prompt, Gemini creates a full new page. Now, at first glance, it looks good, but there's still room for improvement, and here's why. This page feels too similar to the home page, especially the hero section. It doesn't really have its own identity yet. So I go back to ChatGPT and ask this. Right now, the system core page looks too identical to the home page, except for the content. Should I keep the left side navigation? Should this page has its own visual layout while keeping the same overall styling? What's your recommendation? And the answer is clear. This page should not visually behave like the home page. And that's actually the mistake I made at the beginning, because I didn't specify this clearly. Gemini reused the same hero rhythm, the same horizontal layout flow, the same spacing, and the same marketing style section stack. And that's not what we want. So now I write a new prompt. This time I'm very specific. I tell it we're adapting the home page into a system core page, and I need a detailed prompt for Gemini. It should keep exactly the same navigation menu, the left side navigation, and for the layout, it should use the recommendation that he gave me so it doesn't copy the home page. So when you have the updated prompt, just copy it and go back to Aura, and here's the result. And honestly, this is pretty amazing. With just one prompt, the entire visual identity of the page completely shifts. This time, everything actually feels like it belongs to the system core page. It doesn't feel like random section that the AI just stitches together. It finally has a real identity. So at this point, I like this first iteration. Now, the next step is simple. Download the HTML again, then upload it to ChatGPT and ask it to analyze the first iteration of the system core page. Basically, what do you think about this layout? So we go through what's working well, and if you scroll down more, there's this yellow panel that really needs attention, and here's the overall evaluation. The rating is higher than before, which is good, but there's still room for improvement. So now I ask the next question. I ask it to enhance each of the 6 sections. We start with the overview section. I ask for a recommendation to improve it and for a detailed prompt to fix it. So I copy the prompt, paste it, and here's the result. As you can see, the overview section changes a lot. And that's a really good step forward. I actually like it much better now. From here, it's basically a lot of back and forth. Every time you make changes and you're happy with it, you download HTML again, upload it again, and ask the AI to review the newest version. This part is important because you always want the AI to work with the most up-to-date layout. If you keep continuing the conversation without updating the HTML, the model might react to outdated structure or spacing since it reads through the code. So here I upload the new HTML again. ChatGPT tells me I really don't need to change anything else for that section, so I'm satisfied. And I move on to section 2. Same process. I copy the prompt, apply it, and here's the result. Here's the before and after for section 2. And again, you can see how easy it is to improve a section when you give AI clear direction. This time, section 2 gets a good rating, so I don't touch it anymore. Now I move on to section 3. Here's the before, then I paste the detailed prompt, and here's the updated version. Once you understand how to prompt section updates properly, it becomes really fast. Usually 1 or 2 prompts and the section is basically done. Now, before moving to section 4, I noticed something. When the system core page loads, in my opinion, it jumps too quickly into the overview section. So I decided to add something on the top, like a small intro or a mini hero. So I asked for a prompt, copy it, and paste it. And now we have a proper introduction to the page. A title, a short description, and now users immediately know where they are on the website. Then I repeat the same process with the remaining section. Here's section 4. Honestly, I already thought it looked pretty good, but after applying the changes, just wow. It's crazy how the AI understands the context and keeps the overall styling consistent. Now we move on to section 5, the performance metrics section. Here's the before, and here's the after. And look at this, the transformation is honestly insane. And now we're already at the final section of the page, the integration section. At the beginning, the AI also recommended making changes to the footer, so I decided to include both in the same prompt. So here's the before. And honestly, this section didn't look good at all. It felt empty. It didn't really add much value visually. So now here's the after. And just like that, this is why the workflow matters so much. It's crazy what AI can do when you use it the right way. And at the same time, it also updated the footer. So we are officially done with the page. Now, you might notice some small changes that weren't done by AI at all. Those were manual edits I made myself. Things like adjusting text, tweaking colors, adding subtle gradient, or polishing small visual details. That part doesn't really need AI. That's just quick design cleanup. And at the same time, you're saving some prompt. So now here's the final version of the system core page. We have section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5, and finally section 6. And I'm gonna be honest with you. This page took a little longer than expected. We end up using around 12 or 13 prompts just to get this one right. And earlier, I told you we'll build 5 pages in under an hour. So yeah, this didn't start perfectly. It took some time. But here's the important part. For the next pages, I'm going to show you a really cool trick, something that massively improves your prompt and makes everything way faster. So the goal is still the same. We can absolutely build the remaining 5 pages under 60 minutes. So now that we're done with the second page, the system core page, we're ready to move on to the third one, which is the deployment page. And remember, every time you create a new page, Aura duplicates the selected page. Since I don't want the flow to feel like the main landing page anymore, I select the system core page and duplicate that one instead. Now, before we continue generating pages, I want to show you a really important trick. As you probably noticed by now, I use ChatGPT to give me feedback, analysis, direction, and to help me craft detailed prompts that I use inside Aura with Gemini. Before, I used to upload my HTML in a single chat. And yes, it works, but the problem is sometimes you have to explain things again. The context gets messy, the conversation becomes long, it takes time to load, and if you come back another day, you have to scroll and search for everything. So here's what I do. Inside ChatGPT, there's a project filter, so you can click on project, create a new one, and give it a name. And here's the part most people don't use properly. You can add instruction and set a permanent context for how the AI should respond inside that project. So right now, I've added a detailed prompt that tells the AI to act as a senior product designer, UI UX architect, and front-end UI engineer. Now, if you don't know what to write here, don't worry, just use AI to help you write it. That's exactly what I did. I shared a screenshot of my project setting and asked, I'm designing with AI, mostly in HTML, using Gemini 3.0. I'm a beginner with no experience. Write me a prompt so the AI behaves like an experienced designer. Show me a first draft and we'll improve it together. After a few iterations, I refine it, then I refine it again. After the third version, I was satisfied, so I copied the final prompt and pasted it into the project instruction box. You can also add documents, code file, and image for extra context. But in my case, the instruction prompt alone was enough. Now let's test it. I open the chat inside the project and simply ask, what are you? And instantly the response changes based on the instruction. It says, I am your AI design and thinking partner, a strategic brain, UX clarity filter, system builder, and collaborative design partner. And that's exactly what we need. It's basically like having a personal UI UX consultant sitting next to you, available anytime for the cost of a low subscription, which is honestly insane. All right, now let's move on to the third page. I upload the final HTML of the homepage and the system core page and ask, what do you think so far? So the short answer is very strong. The overall verdict is good and I am in a solid place. Now I ask the next question. I want to create a deployment page. What should be the role and feel of this page? Just like before, I read through the suggestion, and when I'm happy with the direction, I give the green light to generate the detailed prompt. This time, I also add a lot more constraint based on what I want for this page. So now I copy the detailed prompt and back to Aura, I paste it and say, adapt this page into a deployment page following exactly these feedbacks. I use Gemini 3 Pro in default mode. Quick reminder, default mode regenerates the entire page. Edit mode only targets specific section, which is useful if you're only tweaking something like the hero or a single block. And you can already see the difference compared to the first iteration of the system core page. This deployment page feels way more structured. The content actually matches the purpose of this page. At first glance, it already looks very good, but I still follow the same process. I download the updated HTML again and ask, what do you think about this first iteration? I read the feedback and no major changes are needed. So I made a few small manual tweaks and that's it. The deployment page is already done. And the crazy part, I only use 2 big prompts to build the entire page. And now we're ready to move on to page number 4, security. All right, now we're done with 3 pages so far. And you probably noticed something important. The second page felt very different from the third page, and that's because we changed the workflow. At this point, if you're using the project setup with your AI, the rest of the pages become so much easier to generate. You basically repeat the same process. So for the security page, I upload the 3 final versions we already have, the home page, system core, and deployment. And quick tip here, instead of downloading each HTML file one by one, there's an option to download the entire site files. So if you already finalized 2 or 3 pages, click on that option and it downloads everything at once. That makes things way easier. Now we repeat the same workflow, upload the file, ask the AI to analyze the current state, and generate the detailed prompt. So here's the security page. For this one, even though it only took 2 big prompts, AI is still not perfect. Even though it duplicated the deployment page, the navigation changed. Even though I specifically asked it not to touch the navigation and the left side menu. So I had to make some small manual fixes to keep everything consistent with the rest of the site. Now here's the final version of the security page. After that, I built the pricing page using the exact same method. That one took around 3 big prompts. And finally, the documentation page only needed 1 big prompt, plus a few small manual tweaks. So now we officially have 6 pages generated. The next step is connecting everything together. Right now, if you are on the home page and you click on the navigation tab, nothing happens. So here's how to fix that. Select the design tool, then select the first tab, System Core. On the link, you simply assign it to the System Core page. Then you repeat the same thing for deployment, security, pricing, and docs. You can also link the logo back to the home page, so clicking it always brings users home. Now, here's something important you need to know. Right now, we only connected the navigation on the home page. So if I click on System Core, it will bring me to that page, but the navigation there is still empty. That's because every page technically has its own navigation instance, which means we actually have 6 separate navigation menus to connect. And yeah, that part is not ideal. So now, for example, I'm on the System Core page, and if I click on another tab, nothing happened. So here's a trick you can use, but use it carefully. Go back to the main page where you already connected all the tabs, select the header, copy it, then go to another page like security. Select the header and paste to replace. But there's a catch. The link system can be a little buggy sometimes. Sometimes you connect a page, click save, and it still doesn't register properly. For example, here you can see System Core is safe, Security is safe, Docs is safe, but deployment and pricing are suddenly empty even though I linked them before. So if you don't double check this before copying the header across all pages, you'll spread broken links everywhere. That's why I personally prefer doing this part manually. Yes, it might take a little more time, but it's safer. So this is personal to you. So I verify every tab. I make sure every page is correctly connected. And one last thing, don't forget to save. All right, we're finally at the end of the video. We just built a full multi-page website with 6 pages. The navigation is fully functional. We can move between all the pages, and if we click on the logo, it brings us straight back to the home page. Now, even though I didn't spend time on this part of the video, I also added a request demo model. But honestly, the process is almost the same as creating any other pages. There's also one small setting I want to show you. When transitioning between pages, by default, it's set to instant at 300 milliseconds. Personally, I prefer using fade at 200 milliseconds. It just feels smoother and more premium. Once everything is done, you simply click Publish. You can use the default Aura subdomain, and you'll also notice there's an option to sell template directly inside Aura. For this part, you need to connect a payment provider like Lemon Squeezy, Gumroad, or Polar. And the nice thing is, when you make a sale, all the money goes directly to you as the creator. My paid template is live right now. I set the price at $39, so we'll see how it performs. Now, another big feature that was released recently is custom domains. A lot of users were asking for this, and it's finally available. Setting it up is actually pretty simple. First, you need to buy a domain name. You can use platforms like Name.com, GoDaddy, Namecheap, or Hover. I personally choose Name.com. At first, I wanted something with my name, Sam, so I tried Studio Sam. But yeah, if you look at the price, that one is almost 160K. That's not happening. Most domain with Sam and a .com extension were already taken. I even tried Sam Studio, but that one was taken too, and I didn't want to make an offer. So instead, I used my full first name, Sam Nang Studio, and ta-da, I was able to get it. So now I have my name and a .com extension, which is perfect. Once you buy your domain, you go into your domain settings and manage the DNS records. Then you go back to Aura and copy the required values, the type A and the C name. You paste those into your domain provider setting, and if everything is set correctly, when you open your domain, it points directly to your website. This is amazing for showcasing your portfolio, your project, or even selling templates. So now here we are. My full multi-page website is live and fully functional. If I click on System Core, I can navigate through all the sections. Deployment, 4 section. Security, 4 section. Pricing, 6 section. And docs, 7 section. The CTA model works, and clicking the logo brings me back to the home page. And that's it. This is how you build a full multi-page website in under 60 minutes using the multi-page feature by combining ChatGPT with Gemini 3.0. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, comment, and I'll put all the links in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.